got you, but I think maybe a little bit of pushback here is often the canary in the coal mine, is because now if you go to corporates and you go to the person out there and say, oh, we got to look at your gut, you got to look at food sensitivities, we got to do this, we got to do that. And having done functional medicine for so long, organic acid tests and GI map tests, they all have their role, and often they find the root disease, the root cause of disease, which is important. But sometimes if we've just got a marker, like, we want to educate these clients, and I spend a lot of time coaching and group coaching and keynotes and in boardrooms to say, well, these are the 10 tests. Now we can dive deeper and deeper and deeper. But if your free testosterone, okay, is not good, there's a sign that there's some serious problems with your lifestyle. Could be your emotional health, could be your purpose, could be your stress levels, could be your sleep. But people need, I think, and this very data-centric model that we run, and I know how important your precision diagnostics are, and precision data and precision discovery. I've been through it, and I think it's powerful. But don't we need a filter and a frame to say, well, you're 25, and now we're going to go through the lab ranges, which is important. You've got low testosterone. This is a real problem, and it's an indicator of significant dysfunction.
Yeah, Steve, we're saying the same thing. What you just described is completely in alignment with my position and what I'm saying as well. I would never say don't correct the low testosterone, but I think that it'd be selling our clients short to simply think that all you need is testosterone. And that's sometimes the narrative that we hear, that here's your testosterone and you're good. And I come from the men's health, disease model world as 25 years in urology, where it was thought all guys need is testosterone shot and some Viagra, you're good. And so there's a clear sequence. So, when I work with guys, one of the first things we will fix is testosterone, make no mistake about it. And we'll often see a big change there. But I think the fault would be to stop there and think that was the problem, we're good.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you just described, it's typically an indicator of much bigger underlying problems.
And I think maybe it's probably even better to try and look at the root causes of lifestyle and possibly supplementation before giving the testosterone. And then the testosterone is good. And if they do get a change in their symptoms, it's often short-lived, or they come back and they say, listen, it's not working anymore. They need a greater dosage because the underlying problem hasn't been sorted.
Yeah, so there are a lot of ways that you can, now we're talking about how do we address the low testosterone, a lot of ways that you can improve that, correct it. Some are obviously, as you're talking about, natural, they're lifestyle maneuvers. But there's something important. So when we look at why are testosterone levels so low? And you touched on it a moment ago with endocrine disruptors, toxins in our environment. And I do believe that's the biggest single culprit here is the toxins in our environment. And here in the U.S., unfortunately, we have really tainted food supply with atrazine and glyphosate all over our foods. And we have synthetic birth control, synthetic estrogen in our drinking water. People are drinking from plastic water bottles, all the microplastics we're getting hit with, the phthalates and the BPA. Our animals are getting injected with hormones, and there's a lot of GMO. And I can go on all these toxins. What's scary is that there's actually something called transgenerational epigenetics. What that means is epigenetics, the science of how our lifestyle and environment affect our physiology, of course. But there's a transgenerational effect, meaning studies have shown that damage to our grandfather from exposures, and I would say submit that unfortunately here in the US is much worse than other parts of the world. But again, the Sweden and Finland study showed the same testosterone decline. But the damage to our grandfather has been shown to affect germ cells that affect our father. Damage that they experience ultimately affect their germ cells, which affect us even further. And so there's a clear transgenerational effect that I think is at least partially responsible. The reason I'm bringing this up is I think that it is maybe perhaps overly optimistic to think that we can fully correct this decline in testosterone with lifestyle alone. Okay. And I see it time and time again where it works to a point. But for a lot of people, the damage has already been done, so to speak. It's already from generations past, the damage to our germ cells is tough to fully recover. And that's where it starts to get scary to think about on a bigger level.